Hi, FlossTube Stitchers. At the last minute, I changed my top for today's video to my University of Dayton sweatshirt so that I wouldn't forget to tell you what my niece Caitlin and I did on Friday night. Caitlin is the one who went to UD in Ohio, and she's the one who still lives in town, and we get together like once a week to do something. And I bought her a gift certificate to a place called Board and Brush in a nearby community. Her birthday was in December, but one thing led to another, and this was the date that we decided on that we were both free, and it wasn't a crazy busy week. And so we went on Friday night, and it's a painting class, but not like watercolor or anything crazy. It was the kind where you use stencils. So this is the picture that they took of her and I. So she did the lovely silverware for her next apartment, and then I'm gonna blow this up so you can see. I think it was called ornate paw print, but it's kind of a floral paw print for my girl Sophie. So then I have to show you Sophie, for those of you who don't know, or if you haven't seen a picture lately. So that's my little Sophie. She's so cute. She always wants to pose for a picture. And what she did right after this picture was rub her head in the fleece blanket. And I tried to capture the static cling that happens when she does that. It's just hilarious. And if you're not right there with the camera, you miss it. She looks like, a dandelion when it first happened. So I got a kick out of trying to catch that. So anyway, that's what we did on Friday night. It was very fun. And we did it with two other ladies that we did not know. They happened to be sisters. And one of them had bought the other one the gift certificate for her birthday as well. Only this was, I think, their third time there. So they were a little more experienced, and we kind of, looked at what they were doing, and they did things that were a little more complicated than our one color design. But I felt really good about how we eased into this, new endeavor, this new craft endeavor. And I came away from it with a newfound interest in getting some of my finishing done, some of the things that need to be painted or stained or redone. And that gave me a little bit of confidence, especially since we were being led by somebody who, she was teaching the class, she worked there and gave us all kinds of helpful hints. And so, but I came away with it just feeling like, I want to do some finishing now. So we'll see. Maybe Easter weekend, because we don't have much scheduled. So anyway, then my vintage stitch has to do with March, because I had stitched it for my grandmother Manning many years ago. I think it says 1986. This was my mom's mother, who was married to the grandfather that was a beekeeper. So it wasn't his main form of income. It was kind of a side job along with his gardening. And anyways, I'm gonna have a bee thing to show you a little bit later, but I think this was a leisure arts book, or it was one of those books from back in the day that had multiple designs in it. And I actually chose this design to stitch for. I know there's glare, and it's a light colored mat, so that's probably making it worse. I stitched it for both of my grandmothers in different color schemes, and unfortunately I did not get the one back from my grandmother in Pennsylvania, because we were not there at the time they were taking down her belongings. And even though my initials were on it, you would think that somebody would have saved it for me, but I don't think I have that. So my grandmother Manning, we called her Mom, because she was only 42 when I was born, and she said she was too young to be called grandmother. But she had a guest bedroom that was shades of lavender, And so I stitched this for her specifically for that room. I don't think there was anything hanging in it at the time. And I don't know if you can tell, but it's lavender fabric. And this was back when, you know, a colored fabric was an interesting concept. Like everyone was just stitching on white or antique white. And I had a lot of fun changing the colors to lavender. I may not have done the same thing had I had it all, you know, to do again now. The top mat is a pale lavender. It kind of looks like gray in this picture. And I don't know what to do with it now. It doesn't go in my house. I don't want it. I could take the glass off and pick my initials and the date out and then, you know, donate it back to a thrift shop, or I could donate it and let somebody else deal with it. But I don't, like, it's sentimental, but not really. Like, I enjoyed it when we visited her house all those many times. And so I don't really need to keep it. So I'm not sure what to do with it. But anyway, it wasn't very well framed. I think it looks pretty straight. That's not the part that's bad because it was Aida, so it was pretty easy to you know, to stretch. But the mats were not acid free. You can tell that they've turned a little yellow with age, and there's massive overcuts on the corner of the mats, which is not a very experienced framer, obviously, who did this. But anyway, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but I decided to hold on to it until I could show it to you as my vintage stitch in March. All right, so I did a little more stitching on 3 of my projects from Freebie February. And the one that I'm still working on is Pinker and Pumpkin Quilting. This is the B Skep 1869 Crock, I think it was called. And I added the vine and parts of the, I guess the middle of the white flowers. I added those colors. And I didn't go any farther on the crock itself because I'm going to change the date to 1915 to reflect my pappy's birth year. So that's how the grandparents are together there. So yeah, so I had fun doing that. I have some, I tied them together, but I have my tails on the back because I didn't want to disturb that stitching when I added the white floral stitches. So I'm going to very carefully work the white around it and then tie all of the tails under at the same time. And I did graph out the year, so I should be able to continue working on that with no issues. Then I finished our daily thread from Stone Street Stitchworks. So I didn't have too much to do last time, but I finished that. I really like it. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with it. I was thinking of maybe it doesn't say buttons, so to add buttons, I might put some vintage black or mother of pearl. Actually, black sounds good. I might put some buttons in all of the open space, so I'll probably find some interesting ones and lay them out and see if I like it first before I start stitching them on. So that was really a fun stitch, and you could do that in so many different colors, or you could do it in an overdyed that changes color with the border. So I'm anxious to see if any of you do the same thing and what your color choices were. And then I also finished Colorado Cross Stitchers Thankful Turkey. All I have to do are the eyes. It just has like 8 stitches in 3865. 3865, and then a French knot in the middle or a tiny bead. So I'm going to see, they don't make the petite beads in all the colors, but if there's not a brown one, I'll just do black, I guess. So I was thinking of doing that. And then it had 2 little motifs, like kind of just in the air there in green. And I started to stitch them and I thought, they don't really belong there. I don't know what the purpose was. I looked for buttons to match, but I couldn't find the same color green. And then I decided that I was just going to put some green stitches in the corner. Maybe I'll add another row even just so that it kind of fills in the top a little bit more, but I'm really happy with that. I just love that colorful border at the bottom, and I'd like to do something fun with the finishing. All right, so that was my stitching for the week, and then I said I was going to show you some more Nashville spotlights. Somebody commented on my video that they must have missed the one where I showed everything I brought back. I did not show everything I brought back, and people have asked me, where can we see it? Well, I don't have a website, and I didn't want to bore you with all the charts because everybody and their sister has shown them already on social media. So if you're on Facebook or Instagram, you can see my daily Nashville Spotlight post, and I'm going to do that, you know, through the whole month, and just hope that I gave you a little bit of an overview of what I brought back. I guess there was just no good way for me to do that to everybody's satisfaction. So I will show you, let's see, I'm going to do the Chantel first and get that out of the way. So I had the perpetual paddles that come in a 3-pack that go with this Gather series by Hands On Design, but also it's a good size for a whole bunch of other things. I sold out of those. You paint them yourself, so they come, you know, they come in a wood color. So this is a new series. This is called the Bender Board Collection, and I asked Chantel at Market where she got the name Bender from, like what it meant, because it's a stand, it's a 3-piece stand, but I wasn't sure where the Bender part came from. And she said this kind of reminded her of a tombstone, and at a local cemetery there's a Bender family where there's a lot of tombstones. So I thought that was cute. She goes, I just needed a, you know, new name for a new series. So this is a plain one. This is one with a heart cut out at the top, and then you get the heart that you could use in another way. And then there's a bobbin, and there's the bobbin cut out. Then there's a larger size. So this size is 13 and the larger size is 17. It might be this, no, is it wider? I didn't bring them all over here because it was too much to put on this table. It might be a little bit wider, but definitely taller. It might be the same width. Why don't I just go check? Because I don't know. No, in the picture, they kind of look like they're very similar, so whatever. So those are the Bender boards. Then this is the Everything board. This also comes in 2 sizes. So this, I think, is the smaller one. This is 9. And the bigger one is 19. I think I've sold the bigger one already. And I've seen some things finished on this, but they're not necessarily in the books, because sometimes stitchers would do their own thing and then show the designer later. So they've been shown on social media, but it wasn't actually the original chart put out by the designer. Let's see, is that... Oh, this is, okay, I'll show you one last thing, and then I have to go back to the Bender board because I did forget to show you that picture. So this is the Folk paddle, and this is 20. And this is what Kathy used for her folk series. So this is Spring Folk, and I think this is the second one in the series. And if you put them on temporarily, then you can just you only have to buy one board. Okay, so back to the Bender boards. This is one that I think the stitcher had finished it. So this is Teresa Koget's Stitcher's Strawberries. And that's what the Bender board looks like in black, with a little rubbed off antique-y look to it. So now I feel like I could do one of these boards with no problem, because I just successfully stained and, what do I want to say? Antiqued, what did they call it? I beat up the board a little bit with some tools, and that was really fun. So yeah, I feel like I need to figure out what I'm going to put on one of these and do that now while I'm still in that mode. So that design was in the Hello Spring book. Okay, so that was all of Chantel's. That's all she had at market with her. Okay, so that's that. Then next I'm going to show you Dinky Dyes threads. I'm going to put them in order here, numerical order. It goes from 308 to 313. They're the new 6 colors. And if I can figure out how to do this so that you can see all the colors. And I'm trying to make this be like a screenshot so that I can post it today as my Nashville spotlight. So we'll see if I did that long enough. So the orange color is burnt orange. The next one is shortbread. The red is cardinal. Then there's blush, fern, and the last neutral one over here is sandstone. So they are Dinky Dyes, who I know you've heard of because they've been around for a while. The company was started in Perth, Western Australia, and the Dinky Dye name comes from the term dinky dye, which I don't know, is that an Australian term? Because I had never heard it here. So maybe it came from there. Maybe it's one of their little things they say. But it means, it's a play on the word dinky dye, D-I-E, which means genuine or the real thing. And they took the company very seriously when they started it, and they wanted to use, you know, really good silk and have some beautiful colors and whatever. So that's where it started. She eventually sold it, I think after she moved back to the States. I think her husband was in the military, if I remember the story correctly, but she sold it to some other lovely gals in Nevada who do a great job. And in addition to the silk, they have the scissors that I showed you last week. They also carry 25 or so different designers that they do as a print to order business. So usually my orders to them come pretty quickly because they do all the printing right there. So it's really great for the foreign designers so that there's no shipping involved. So anyway, when the company first started, I felt like all their colors were really crazy because they were named after Australian things, places, water, flora and fauna, sayings that they have there. Anyway, but I forgot that they have a whole line of colors that are more tone on tone rather than being the crazy multicolored skeins. So I wanted to be sure that I showed those. Okay, and then the last thing I want to show you, although I really don't want to encourage people to order this alone, kind of goes for the cookbook too because they're spiral bound. And I just had some real issues. Our local post office is really picky about how things are mailed, especially if they're spiral bound like this. So this is the Primrose Cottage journal. This is kind of their mantra for this year. And they have the matching sticker, which I'm giving, it's a $2 value. I'm just sticking it in with the journal for anyone who buys a journal from me. And it's just a lovely journal. I love the font they used. These are the pages that you have for keeping track of your projects. You can put a photo there or just other stickers or things. I don't think I talked about this last time. I hope I didn't. But I did rewatch the end of that video to make sure. There's 2 pages of stickers that you can use to decorate with. Anyway, it's a really nice journal. It's $17. But because my post office is so picky, I have to package this so carefully that the postage is not worth the value of the item. So I, in the past, have reached out to other people to ask how they're mailing single copies like this, and no one's answered me. I even did a magazine a number of years ago, and I said, how are you possibly mailing this to people individually? And I said, do you have a different deal because you're actually the publisher? And she never, she never answered me. So I don't know how people are doing it when it's bound this way, or even when it's just something really thick that's heavy for the price. You know, it's overly heavy for the value of it. So anyway, I'm happy to mail them to people, but I really would rather have it be along with something else so that you get free shipping, or that I don't have to worry so hard about how carefully I package it. Just putting cardboard around it, like just putting cardboard on front and back isn't enough. You have to do something with the spiral bound side. And it started with the cookbook last year. I think last year was the first year that the cookbook was spiral bound. And I was surprised at how much it was going to cost me to mail it by itself. So it can be mailed, the cookbook can be mailed media because it's considered an instructional manual, but then there's no guarantee and no tracking on when you're going to get it. And that doesn't seem worth it either. So that's a whole thing. That's like kind of a behind the scenes issue here. Then I should show you another new designer. And I was afraid I wouldn't have enough to show you because I've sold so much of it, but I did pull some out of an unfinished mail order that I'm sure she won't mind if I'm showing her copies. So it's Blueberry Ridge, and all of a sudden her name escapes me, Emily. Her mother is Lori, who is Pansy Patch Quilting and Stitchery. And Emily is a lovely college gal who's in her last year of a degree in graphic design. And I was so excited to meet her at market. I had emailed back and forth with her last summer after or during the expo in August, but I was very excited to see them in Nashville. So I think this first one, All Hallows Eve, was her Nashville exclusive. So only shops that went to Nashville had it for the first month or so. And then this is Bramble Cottage. And then the sampler seasons, there are 3 of them now. I'm out of autumn, but this is winter, which I think I've already shown this as a spotlight on social media. And spring is the newest one. So summer, I think, yeah, summer is the one that hasn't been done yet. Then this came out previously, but I got them this time. Now pay attention, House on Blueberry Hill. I love blueberries. House on Pear Hill. And House on Strawberry Hill. Now, it would be really hard for me to pick which one of these is my favorite. I've always said blueberries were my favorite fruit because they're so versatile and you can do savory things with them as well as sweet. You can also eat them and they don't require utensils or anything. And I love blueberry pancakes and blueberry banana bread and frozen blueberries, blueberry smoothies. Anyway, but I have a strawberry collection because my other grandmother was a seamstress and she also had a strawberry theme to her kitchen. And then I've always said I like pears better than apples. So I have a thing for all 3 of these fruits. But if you twisted my arm, I would say blueberry. So tell me, what is your favorite fruit? It doesn't have to be one of these, but tell me what's your favorite fruit. And then whoever is chosen by the random number generator, then you can pick which one of these 3, or maybe she'll even have another one out soon. I don't know. But for right now, I'm offering one of these 3. And you have 2 weeks to comment because next Sunday is Easter. Oh my gosh, like how did that come around so quickly? It just seems really early. And I'm not going to do a video that day. I may do a spring model tour. And if I do anything different at home, because I think I showed you last spring's decorating, or did I? Because I finished it kind of late. Maybe I never showed it to you. So I might do like a spring model tour. But other than that, I won't be doing a video, so you'll have 2 weeks in which to comment on this. And this was the giveaway from last week, the Shamrock Reel. And I was surprised at how many people actually have a connection to St. Patrick's Day. Either they're a certain percent Irish, or their husband is, or they love Irish food, or they visited Ireland, or they have family members born on St. Patrick's Day. And that is true for Corey Wood, whose name was chosen. She said she gave birth to her oldest son on St. Patrick's Day 36 years ago. And also she mentioned that my birthday is the same as her youngest daughter. So I thought that was fun. And let's see, I hope she doesn't mind if I show this. Okay, so she said it was part of a Primrose Cottage pattern, and the two pieces that she used for mounting she found at a thrift shop. So I thought that was really cute. So this was his gift this year. So I expect Shamrock Reel to be finished in some kind of interesting way for next year, and we'll post an update on that. So I think that was it. I did everything on my list. Okay, very good. We will see you in 2 weeks, and have a great Easter. Hope you have some time off, some time to stitch, some good times with family, brunch maybe, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.